The next outcome of adverse childhood experiences is the person developing narcissistic tendencies. Before we go on, I want us to get something clear. It is not everybody who had trauma as children or as a child that develop narcissistic tendencies. And not all narcissists had traumatic childhoods. That said, a lot of people, because of their experiences growing up, tend to want to be seen as better than everyone else. How do I mean? Now, the typical narcissist seeks validation. They want to be the best. They want to be noticed. They seem to be emotionless most of the times. So for people who grew up with childhood trauma, some of them tend to stonewall or block off emotions so that people do not see their weaknesses. Some of them stonewall so much that you cannot tell when they are in pain or when they are suffering, because they do not want the people around them to see that child they were. They can easily fling a friendship or a relationship because, oh, well, this is not the first time I've been hurt, or they do not want to get to that point where someone hurts them. They easily stonewall. They cannot give compliments. They cannot, show any sign of softness because they are protecting their hearts from being hurt a second time in life. Because of lack or because of where they are coming from, they also want to be seen as having achieved something. They crave these desires so much that they sometimes throw all caution to the wind. You see them wanting to be best, wanting to be recognized. We see a lot of them on social media, wanting to belong, wanting to be who they are not, because in their mind, they tell themselves that if I achieve this certain level of exposure or recognition, nobody will believe I am coming from so background. So you see them showcasing what shouldn't be showcased in an attempt to feel like they belong, in an attempt to be recognized, in an attempt to be validated. That child in them keeps crying for validation, keeps crying to be noticed. And while they are that, they become emotionless. They speak to people rudely. They don't care about how anybody feels because to them, they are protecting their space. Are you one of such people? Are you reacting based off of how your childhood was? Are you fighting the world because of how you grew up? This is a time of retrospection and introspection. You need to think whether the who you are showing people is really the who you are meant to be. Another way ACE shows up in adulthood is its intense desire for wealth and power. Because for some people, money is just money. Money is meant to meet our needs as human beings. Money is meant, to just run life. But for some others, money is a sign of security. Money is a sign of power. Money is a sign of importance. Money is a proof that I'm no longer who you thought I was. Money is a proof that, you thought you would meet me where you left me. So they cling on to it, they fight for it, they use every means to make money or to remain wealthy. This, in a lot of people, is not just drive for wealth. It is their inner child crying. It is their inner child wanting to be compensated for the pains they must have gone through. When you see people who are from very poor backgrounds, that give you the impression they are working very hard, they have made money, they have arrived, they will never marry a poor person, I will never marry a poor person, I will never be poor, It is their inner child crying. It is their inner child they are trying to compensate. It is not as if they don't know what is right. It's not as if they don't have sense. They do have sense. But that inner child that was pained, that inner child that had lack, that inner child that suffered abject poverty, that inner child wants to be released. Yes. So for this set of people, the desire is not the money, it is security. It is that feeling of never being in lack. So if you're one of these people, you might need a deeper healing from your pained childhood. The next way that ACE shows up in adulthood is in chronic people pleasing. People who experience adversity growing up might tend to become excessively people pleasing so that they will be accepted. Growing up in dejection, rejection, lack makes some people feel subhuman. So when they are adults or when they are in circles of with other people, maybe from other background, they tend to be excessively people pleasing to be accepted. There are yes and amen. They do not want to hurt people's feelings so that they will not be excluded or not be treated badly. So they take in anything, they accept every bad treatment. They just want the next person to accept them and be happy with them. Some people are naturally nice, yes, I know, but some are born out of fear or from pain of their childhood. They do not want to be reminded they are not loved. They do not want to be reminded they are not wanted. And they think that making people around them happy is one way for them to remain relevant or accepted. Last but not the least is difficulty with emotion regulation. Like I said in the previous video, due to toxic stress, a child that has been exposed to trauma has his or her brain not developed properly. The brain gets used to tension, to stress, and the parts of the brain that are responsible for emotion regulation and control tend to not develop properly. As such people grow into adulthood, you find them having anger outbursts, unnecessary anger outbursts. They are unable to calm down after conflict. They do not take criticism. They do not take corrections. They do not like to be corrected. They are unable to control these. Even when people point these characters out to them, they become defensive. Yes, I know there are people who are naturally prone to temper tantrums that did not have adverse childhood experiences. But for most people who have had, they have difficulty regulating their emotions. You see people who are quarrelsome, people who are abusive verbally, people who are always ready to fight physically, people who are always ready to give it back to you, to tell you the most painful things. Sometimes you just have to pity them and think of where they are coming from, what their childhood were. They are probably defending that defenseless child who went through a lot of trauma. We're coming to the end of this part of this very exciting topic today. The next and final one will be on how to heal, or how to heal this child, how to heal this child in us, in the adults that has not found healing. If you have watched till this point and you have not subscribed, can you please tell me why? And while you're telling me why, please scroll to subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. What it does is that you get to know when we have conversations that will help your mental health. My name is Neka, and I remain your mental health and well-being advocate. Thank you for watching. See you next time.